What's up? We are back reporting live from New York City. Diddy trial. Had to pop on live for this special podcast episode. While I'm in New York, all my podcast episodes will be coming in the evening because I got to do a lot of running around for the case in the morning. What's going on? I see Tracy in the building. Let's go. Who else? I just popped my Facebook people on. Y'all, I am in New York seeing Mohawk Diddy live in the flesh. Let me get a little light going on in here. Got me looking like Diddy. There we go. Let me get a little light in here. I'm excited, but I had to pop on with my family and say hello. How you doing? What's up, Sam? What's up, Trisha? In New York, doing my thing. I had to pop on the podcast. We don't miss no days. We might have to rearrange a little schedule, but we ain't gonna miss no days now. So since I'm in New York, we're gonna do the podcast episode in the evening. For obvious reasons, I'm running around in the court and in the courthouse during the day, but I got some Diddy news, of course. I can confirm Diddy is actually on trial. Finally seen him for myself. Look like Morgan Freeman. Diddy looking like Morgan Freeman, but he don't look like the sketches. The sketch has been tripping, but I can confirm to the Flow community. What's up, Kim? He looked like Morgan Freeman, Rachel. He looked very focused. And as I walked into the courtroom, it was chaos. The minute I walked in, his lawyers were arguing over, they wanted a mistrial. And I'm going to tell you why Diddy's team wanted a mistrial. Also, there was some explosive revelations concerning somebody spotted and has placed Diddy at the scene of the crime at Kid Cudi's break-in. So we got to talk about that. Also, Cassie's old stylist came with another story about Diddy beating the crap out of everybody. So we're going to talk about that. What's going on? But I'm happy to be here. Yep, sure did. That's gonna do him in. And for everybody talking about they ain't seen RICO, open your goddamn eyes. Cause if you still ain't seeing RICO, then you don't know what the hell. You don't really know nothing about the law. So you need to just refrain from this conversation. What's up, Sarah? Hey, Amy. Kathy. What's up, Lindsay? Yeah, defense wants to throw out the testimony, but ain't none of that working. The defense is what you call desperate times call for desperate measures. And the defense is desperate. And when you keep calling for mistrials and all of that while you're getting your ass handed to you, it just shows that you're very desperate. And frankly, you're getting on the judge's nerves with these bullshit motions. I told y'all from the beginning, they get on the judge's nerve with all this busy work. What's up, Olivia, Jeanne? So, yeah, it was, hey, y'all, I'm going to be honest. It was so crazy actually seeing Diddy and actually being in the courtroom to see what's going on. It was surreal. Like it really made all this real. Like, I've been covering it. But to see everything in person, it's like, oh shit. Like, this is really a real case. And Diddy really is about to go the fuck down. Where should we begin? There's gonna be no mistrial. The judge shut that down. I ain't gonna even leave y'all hanging on that. But let me tell you why they wanted a mistrial. And the reason they wanted a mistrial is this plays into the fact of Diddy's shady ass. So there was a fingerprint card taken from the scene of the crime by law enforcement. That fingerprint card has disappeared. And so when the arson investigator on the stand, and I got video of him for all my VIP Diddy subscribers, y'all saw the video of the short man, Jimenez, walking out of the courthouse. At first, I thought he was boring, but I was still trying to lock in. He actually has some shit to say. And he was the one that exposed that fingerprint cards had been discarded. He don't know why. But then the prosecution asked him who authorized that. And so the defense said objection. And that's why they called for a mistrial, because they said the prosecution was implying that Diddy had something to do with it, which it wasn't the prosecution. It was the whole fucking courtroom. Of course, Diddy had something to do with it, allegedly, in my opinion. Who else has motivation to get rid of fingerprints and has the power to make that happen? So because the prosecution continued to inquire about that, the defense called for a sidebar, and everybody in the courtroom was looking around. We didn't know what the fuck was going on. He was like, I object to all this. My boy Cash was asleep in the courtroom, because I was going to ask Cash what he thought about it, but he was catching some Z's. So, of course, the judge threw it out, but it leads to more corruption. You can't tell me that Diddy didn't have somebody destroy the fingerprint thing. Sherry said, this shit goes fucking deep. Bro, I want to scream. I hope others go down as well. Yeah. So let's cover. So he, and then another thing he testified to, I'm gonna break it down. We had a stylist today. We had Jimenez, who was the arson investigator. So let's talk about him first. And we're gonna discuss a little bit about Mia, who will be testifying tomorrow. I'm so glad that I'm here for Mia. All the VIP subscribers, you will know who Mia is first thing tomorrow, because we don't know who quote unquote Mia is. All we know is she is a former Diddy assistant who was great and worked the dog shit out of. They say Diddy worked the dog shit out of her. And she was great. Yeah, I can't wait to hear from her. Antoinette said, I can't wait. Yeah, and I'm happy to be here for that one, because I heard Mia gonna bring the house down. So let me tell you the key things that the arson investigator brought to light. He brought to light that he described how the Molotov cocktail is made to blow up a car or blow up something. So it's like a glass, you pour gas in it, but you have a cloth on it, much like a wick. So you light the wick, cloth or whatever, and they throw it in the truck, in the roof. Well, before it hit the seat, the wick came apart, which means it only really caught fire. It didn't really explode like it was supposed to. And that's key, because he said had it not fell apart, that explosion would have caught the house on fire, possibly caught the yard on fire, and destroyed that truck even more than what we saw. So what did that do? That drove home the point to the jury that this person, whoever was behind this, had ill intentions and tried to tear shit up. It just didn't happen quite the way they wanted it to. So for everybody, even like me, who thought, dang, it didn't really explode like you would think. Well, what happened was it didn't. It tore apart before it landed on the seat. So that was a revelation. And then also, like I said, he talked about the fingerprint card being missing or coming up missing. Let's see who says, Flo Daddy Flo, good evening, host and chat. Thanks for coverage of this case. No problem. This is my pleasure. So he talked about the fingerprint cards coming up missing. This is why the defense wanted a mistrial, because they feel like they hinted that Diddy has something to do with it, which who the fuck else would want fingerprints to be destroyed? So he went into that, but then that's when they called the sidebar, and it was all kind of chaos. So we done with him. Let's get to the good part. Well, the part, I'm gonna get to the part that places Diddy at the scene, and then I'll break down the stylist of Cassie and the wildness that happened between them. It was the stylist, I believe Mia and Cassie, and everybody was getting their ass whooped by the diddler, aka Mohawk Diddy, aka Itty Bitty Diddy, aka Tootsie Roll Diddy, aka No Accountability Diddy. So let's talk about who spotted and how they placed Diddy at the scene of the crime. And I'm talking about the break-in, not the bombing, not the Bin Laden. So you remember when Capricorn Clark said she was kidnapped? Diddy made her go to the scene, and it was her, Diddy security, Ruben, and Diddy, of course. They get to Kid Cudi's house. Now they leave Capricorn Clark in the car. Diddy and Ruben go into Cudi's house, rummage through his shit, and do God knows what to his dog. Capricorn Clark says she could see inside the house as she's in the truck. She calls Cudi and lets him know that Diddy is around his house. Boom. That's where we at, right? Well, remember Capricorn Clark said they peeled off and pulled off as police were coming down the street. Well, that policeman that was coming down the street took the stand today. And that policeman said when he was coming down the street, he saw a vehicle leaving the scene, flying away, speeding. He said something seemed strange about that vehicle. Yep, Caroline, I thought the same thing. Caroline said after all that, they left her in the car. Stupid. Very stupid. Diddy did a lot of stupid things. A lot of stupid things. And that's why I said he cooked. Because not only did he do a lot of dumb shit, but he was extremely messy with it. So the LAPD who rolled up on the scene testified today. And guess what he testified to? He said as he saw that vehicle speeding away, he thought something was odd about that, considering there was just a break-in. So he wrote down the license plate. He wrote down the license plate number. And you don't need to be a rocket scientist to know what that license plate came back as. The license plate came back to Diddy. Diddy is fucking cooked, crock potted, Benny Honda, souffle, pan seared. Cash, you got a restaurant. What's some other cooking terms? Stir fried. Come on, Cash. You the restaurant guy. Give me 3 more. crock potted, grilled, Rasta pasta. One more cash for the roll. He said when you put two meats together, you cook lobster tail. You something they call it. Cash can't think of it right now. Barbecue. I like that. How are we gonna forget barbecue? His ass sauteed, broiled. Oh, they coming in the comments. Hey, look, they say Cash was taking too long. Here come the comments. Torched. Twice baked. What would you say? Hammered. Flame broiled. When that cop took his plate down, he might as well have introduced him to a guy that we call RICO. And we ain't talking about Rico Suave. And we ain't talking about Rico that you know that you used to go to school with. We talking about racketeering and all that. I want to know what TMZ gonna say about this. Because you know your boy Flo, Mr. Told You So. I didn't need all this. I already told y'all he was cooked, and it was RICO, and it was arson. He said he was going to blow up Cuddy's car, and then Cuddy's car blew up. How do you spin that? How do you spin that? Today they put Diddy in the hookah and smoked him. We going to the hookah spot after this, right? Yeah. We going to the hookah spot after this. In honor of how Diddy got smoked today. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because y'all know I'm always early and I keep it real. And I had to hear these fuckers talking about ain't no RICO, ain't no this, ain't no case. And the prosecution ain't even got warmed up yet. Wait till Mia take the stand tomorrow. And wait till I tell you what the stylist said today on the stand. Beware of these bought and paid for New York blogs. Beware of TMZ. I wouldn't even listen to them no more. I wouldn't even listen to them no more. They trying to spin a narrative on somebody who said they were going to blow up a truck, and the truck blew up, and they trying to tell us it ain't what would it look like. Well, I was glad to be able to go in that courtroom today, y'all, and verify to the Flow community that Diddy is actually in there. He looked like Morgan Freeman, but he in there. So who else do we need to get to? We talked about the LAPD cop who took down Diddy's license plates. So why was you over there, Diddy? If this ain't no RICO and you ain't had nothing to do with nothing, why the hell why you out speeding off from Cuddy's house? CNN has the CNN, yeah, because CNN bought and paid for it. See, this right now we in a battle, y'all. The battle is the elites versus the regular people. And right now, the elites is trying to do everything they can. CNN worried about getting sued about that tape still. I told you I got one answer to that RICO shit. R. Kelly got the same conspiracy RICO in this same New York where I'm at right now, front and center in New York City. You want to tell me R. Kelly's RICO was stronger than Diddy's RICO, and Diddy running around like Joe Pesci? Diddy running around like a crime mob boss, beating the crap out of everybody? And you want to tell me R. Kelly's RICO was stronger than Diddy's RICO, and they gave R. Kelly 30 years like it was 30 minutes? Slam that gavel down, you will die in prison. I don't give a shit about legacy media no more. CNN, MSNBC, N. I'm eliminating the letter N from the alphabet. Forget every N, forget every TMZ. They full of shit. Nope. They didn't say R. Kelly got 30 because nope, you can't do the underage because the underage and RICO is two different things. The underage was sexploitation. RICO ain't underage. RICO has to be proven as RICO. RICO is using your criminal enterprise to commit crimes. Sex trafficking and under those, they're not even in the same lane. I told you this is why these shows they won't have me on, because I have an answer from everything. I'm already 30 steps ahead of everything somebody will say. Underage don't have nothing to do with RICO. RICO is using your business or your influence to commit crimes and have your people commit crimes for you. The underage was a whole separate thing, and they called that sexploitation. Just like in Sean Combs' situation, he could totally get off on sex trafficking. RICO is a whole nother thing that gives you 25 to life. So I just want to educate you. Anybody saying he got 30 because of the underage, they don't read nothing. All I do is read indictments and read these cases. And so I can understand the who, what, when, whys, and wheres. So when you step into the arena with me, the minute somebody says something like that, like I ain't talking about you, I'm talking about like the other journalists or the TMZ people or whoever. As soon as they say that, I'm already ready for them. I've already studied that the sex trafficking and the underage is totally separate. RICO is a whole nother thing. RICO is about kidnapping. RICO is about arson. RICO is about moving controlled substances. All of these things that you could possibly do with your employees who are supposed to be working with you in a legitimate, structured business. I study this backwards and forwards. I don't get on here just shooting from my hip. I've already studied the underage aspect because that's the first thing I looked up when I looked up the R. Kelly thing. I said, well, was R. Kelly's different because it was underage? No, the underage was just sexploitation. That's a separate thing. RICO is its own animal. So if we're talking about RICO, because see, you're not getting life for sex trafficking. You get life for RICO. You're not even getting life for having sex with an underage female, as trifling as that sounds. You're not getting life for that. You're getting life for RICO. So you can understand how different those charges are. If Diddy would be happy if they didn't get him on no RICO, but they got him on sex trafficking, because he probably would get 15 years or less. But they get his ass on that RICO and it's sayonara. So I just want to clear that up so everybody know. Because like I said, the first thing I looked into was, well, was R. Kelly's different because the underage aspect? That's the first thing I looked into before I opened my mouth. And I got my answer. No, those are separate things. That's why they gave R. Kelly sexploitation, and that's why Diddy has sex trafficking. But you can eliminate those two out the whole equation. And if you get busted for conspiracy, RICO, 25 to life. And on top of that, we're talking about conspiracy RICO. So let me break that down, because a lot of people don't understand. Conspiracy ain't about hardcore, tangible evidence that shows that you did something as a boss. That's not conspiracy. It's just your workers flip on you and tell on you. Conspiracy is hearsay. I have friends who have went to federal prison behind conspiracy who didn't have their hands dirty at all. But once they throw that conspiracy around, you don't even have to physically commit the crime. All you have to do is plan it and structure it and tell your employees to do it. Your ass already done. So I encourage people to look up conspiracy RICO, and you will understand how open and shut this case is. See, a lot of people looking for hardcore. They want to see Diddy on camera killing motherfuckers, or they want to see him on more cameras beating people up. That's not what this case is about. You got to understand what conspiracy means. Conspiracy just means you conspired. You know how easy it is to prove you conspired? All you need is the people you conspired with to flip and tell on you. Done deal. It's like nobody is looking this shit up. People are just talking and saying what they want to say, what they think. See, I don't just think and then say, oh, this is what I think it is. I look shit up. Everybody, please, please look up conspiracy RICO so you can understand what conspiracy RICO means. It's not substantive RICO. Substantive RICO is you literally do the shit. You get caught doing the shit. Conspiracy is literally you conspired and people told on you. So when people say this is just hearsay, that's exactly what conspiracy is. That's why people don't like, a lot of people, especially criminals, don't like conspiracy charges. Any charge where they say conspiracy, that means they don't have to have no evidence you did anything. They just need people to say that, hey, Diddy told me to do this, he told me to do that, and that's it. Now, when you on the scene and your plates get taken down and you got witnesses saying you was beating the hell out of people, conspiracy is done, bruh. Yeah, you got to do your research. Like, nobody is reading this shit. Everybody is throwing out opinions. And let me tell y'all something. I had somebody come in my Facebook comments. This will give you the idea of how much people don't understand this case. They don't do the research. They don't look nothing up. I had somebody come in my Facebook comments. Hey, Cash. I had somebody come in my Facebook comments and say, I think, well, Flo, I think they proved racketeering, but they haven't proved RICO. That's what I said. But this the type of people that's in who's speaking on this stuff. Somebody literally said, hey, Flo, I believe they proved racketeering, but they haven't proved RICO yet. It's the same thing.
First word on the racketeering is R, stands for
RICO. Exactly. Well, RICO, the first word in RICO is R, stands for racketeering. But this is what we're dealing with, y'all. We have people who don't take no time to read shit. They just come in the comments, saying whatever, shooting from the hip and standing 10 toes on it. I don't do that. I research backwards and forwards. I'll be damn, I'm going to be on here yelling and standing 10 toes and not knowing the hell I'm talking about when all I got to do is punch a few letters in my phone and I'll know exactly what the answer is. Don't come in my comment section talking about they prove racketeering, but they haven't proved RICO. When that's exactly the same thing. Racketeering and RICO is one and the same. It's the same shit. But I'm just telling y'all that because this is what we're dealing with in this particular case. People don't understand it, and they don't want to take the time to research it or learn anything. They just want to come on and say shit. Well, when you come on this page, you're gonna get educated. Because like I said, I researched the hell out of this stuff. I don't know all of this stuff, but I research it, so I'm coming on here saying nothing stupid. So without further ado, let's get to the Stylist. The flow community, we know what RICO is. So I'm not worried about everybody else. We just talking about what the hell be going on. The flow community, the flow show, no filter. We know what RICO is. We ain't caught off guard by this crap. It's the rest of these people who don't research and they just come in the comment section and say what they heard at the beauty shop or the barber shop or at the grocery store or what their uncle said. We definitely know what's up. The flow community, like Angie say, we know what's up. But let's get into this Stylist and what he said on the stand. And shout out to the Stylist, because I don't want to talk about his sexual preference, but he's obviously likes an alternative preference. Nothing wrong with it. But I'm going to give him his credit. Because all these so-called men that's supposed to be around Diddy, when Diddy was whooping Cassie's ass, this Stylist jumped on Diddy back. No, Diddy. He jumped on Diddy's back. And now, Diddy did throw his ass. He threw him off. But he the only one I've heard this whole trial that even actually tried to stand up for a female. So before I get into his name is Nash, and he was Cassie's Stylist. So let's talk about this crazy incident that happened when Cassie was on her way to the OVO concert. This comes from the New York Times, and I'm in New York. So hold on. Wait. No, not the New York Times. My bad. This coming from People Magazine. Check that. People Magazine. Name of this article. And she said, a 64 said Diddy is cooked. Exactly. 2 of the RICO charges, and he done. Sex trafficking could be the second one. Yep, it can be. It could be also could be kidnapping. It also could be extortion. But I digress. So People Magazine says Stylist testifies about brutal incident that left Diddy saying, "Look what y'all made me do." Oh, Diddy ain't gonna take no accountability now. Y'all thought Diddy was gonna take some accountability? Hell no. So check this out. Deontay Nash took the stand today and talked about how many times and how Diddy violently attacked Cassie. In 2013, Nash, Combs' former stylist who also assisted Cassie, named Mia and him were trying to help Cassie pack getting ready for the OVO festival. As she's getting ready for this OVO festival, itty bitty Diddy with the Tootsie Roll shows up. They say he showed up unannounced, came in, he said, "Bitch, didn't I tell you to answer the phone?" According to Nash. Combs allegedly dragged Ventura by the hair and began hitting her. This is what Nash testified. He said he hit the hell out of her to the point where Cassie hit her head on the bed frame and caused herself to bleed. Nash said he tried to stop Combs. He said, "I jumped on Puff's back and he threw me off." He said Mia jumped on his back too. He threw me off. Itty bitty Diddy just kept attacking. And that's when Combs allegedly said, "Look what y'all made me do." He blamed it on the stylist and Mia. He blamed beating the hell out of Cassie on them. Combs' security guard, D-Rock, was there during the alleged attack. D-Rock will be testifying. You can believe that. His name coming up way too much. The next day, Cassie appeared on FaceTime with a gash on her eyebrow. I don't know if you saw the picture, but they showed the picture. She had a gash on her eyebrow. Sad, sad story. And the reason why this is important, because it shows when people say, why didn't Cassie get help? Or why did she do this? Or why did she do that? This shows that Diddy was intimidating anybody around her. And why am I saying that? Because Cassie was going to OVO concert on her own. Remember, Drake had invited. And so, since the Stylist and Mia were helping Cassie, and instead of doing what Diddy is telling everybody to do to help him control Cassie, to help him manipulate Cassie, to help him intimidate Cassie. See, they were helping Cassie, and since they were helping him, he had to come beat everybody's ass. It just continues the RICO, the intimidation, the having your employees cover up everything. D-Rock didn't do nothing about it. D-Rock need a new name. D-Rock don't sound like somebody who stand around don't do shit. D ain't rocking a motherfucking thing. So that brings us to the Stylist will be testifying first thing in the morning. Yeah, please like the live and support. Thank you for that. Let's like the live, y'all. Share the live. But D-Rock wasn't rocking nothing. But let's Deontay Nash, the Stylist, will be on the stand first thing tomorrow, followed by Mia. So Mia, let's talk about Mia. Who is Mia? We will find out tomorrow, and if you're a Diddy VIP customer, you will find out probably around noon or maybe after lunch. I don't know how much longer. No, they probably won't be much longer on the Stylist. So we might know who Mia is at about 11 a.m. I'm sure they'll try to get her in before lunchtime break. Shout out to all my Diddy VIP members out there. Subscription help. Thanks for helping me get out here. Hope you love the exclusive content. I had content showing Mama Combs, all the Diddy kids walking in and out of the courtroom, all the chaos that ensued outside when Mama Mohawk Diddy came out with all the kids. Somebody yelled out, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." It was a lot of chaos. So I expect there to be more chaos tomorrow. I will be covering it. I will be right in the thick of things. I will be in the courtroom. The minute we get a break, I will come out the courtroom and tell y'all what the hell happened and what is going on. So Mia is victim 4. Victim 4, Mia was a longtime assistant to Combs. She will testify tomorrow. Now, this former employee, this is from ABC News. The former employee was briefly mentioned in opening statements. She was mentioned by prosecutor Emily Johnson, who described Mia as being worked to the bone for years. Do y'all know we got forced labor? It's so many things under this RICO. I haven't even spoke on the forced labor aspect. You heard all this horrible labor, people working 20 hours a day. Right here, they say Mia was worked to the bones. Forced labor also falls under RICO. There's so many charges that make you guilty of RICO that we're not even mentioning. So for anybody to say they don't see RICO, you just haven't picked a book up or Googled anything of relevance. But anyway, let's continue. Johnson also mentioned at some point Combs forced himself on Mia sexually, putting his hand up her dress, unzipping his pants, and forcing her to perform oral you know what. And sneaking into her bed to penetrate against her will. This is what Mia will be discussing on the stand tomorrow, and my ass will be in the courtroom waiting and listening very attentive. Mia's testimony is expected to focus on the racketeering conspiracy charges. In the racketeering conspiracy charges allege he operated a criminal enterprise. Y'all got to spread the word and educate these fools. Operating a criminal enterprise is not the type of evidence that some of these people think you need to have. You don't need none of that. Sending your employees to go get your drugs, that's moving controlled substances through a criminal enterprise. See, this isn't a one person just running around breaking a few laws here and there. This is somebody with an actual organized crime, an organized business, using his employees to commit crimes. That's all this RICO is about. People are making it a lot more complicated than it is. If you are confused, just look at how many lawyers Diddy is hiring. Just look at how many times Diddy's lawyers are calling for mistrials off the stupidest things. Desperation. So while all these people who bought and paid for don't know the law is running around talking about ain't no case, Diddy and them know it's a case. Because they trying every desperate move they can think of. They trying to get mistrials off with no justification for a mistrial. Let's just try. Because at this point, we are cooked. We are toast. We are fried green tomatoes. So, although the people in the comments might not know, Diddy knows. He hiring a lawyer every day. So Mia's testimony is going to focus on racketeering and conspiracy charges. And she's going to explain how employees carried out crimes on behalf of Combs and helped cover them up. If you have employees covering up crimes and you have employees carrying out crimes, and then when this whole case happens, the fans go to those same employees and say either you tell on Diddy or you sit next to Diddy, and everybody tells on him, ladies and gentlemen, you have RICO. Ladies and gentlemen, it is as simple as that. They are trying to make the RICO conspiracy more complicated than it is. If you operate your business as a criminal enterprise, that's RICO. And if all your employees stepping on that stand, swearing under oath, that's all the evidence you need. Let's continue. Her testimony will be followed by another Los Angeles police officer, another arson investigator, who's going to speak more about the Kid Cudi situation. They are hammering home the point that this was arson, because if it wasn't arson, you wouldn't have all these arson investigators wasting all our tax dollars investigating the shit. We have heard from about 4 or 5 different people about this arson. I don't know about 4-5 investigators investigating the hell out of something that's just, as TMZ would like to say, just a jealous boyfriend. Rage. That's not arson. That's just a jealous boyfriend. Exactly. Forced labor, all of them. Truth is coming out. So today we had testimony from an LAPD officer who says he pulled up and he took down the plate number and saw Diddy pulling off and got his plates. So Diddy, was you just over Kid Cudi's house to have a beer? What were you doing there? Were you just there to have a beer? Or was you there breaking and entering? Because these cops tend to think you were up to no good, Diddy. So we got that. We also have his stylist telling all type of stories about how he beat the hell out of Cassie, how he intimidated everybody around him. Hell, he even tried to choke the stylist out. And guess what? The stylist testified on the oath. He didn't even want to be here. He was subpoenaed. He didn't even want to tell this stuff. He wanted to stay out of it in fear for his life. But he was subpoenaed. So he wasn't somebody looking for clout, wanting to be on this trial. He was subpoenaed. And he said one time he was helping Cassie. Diddy didn't like it. He tried to choke him out. So we had that. Then we have the other investigator saying that mysterious fingerprint came up missing. Fingerprints from the Cudi incident, from the blowing up car. That was so crazy that it caused for the defense to say, I object to all this, and wanted to call a little sidebar and try to call for a mistrial. Because your client getting busted doing this and doing that, you want to call for a mistrial. Like it's that easy. I bet every client, every criminal wish they could just call for random mistrials. So we got the other arson person. And then tomorrow, we got the assistant who not only had forced labor, but was actually violated in the worst way, allegedly, by the diddler. Tomorrow's about to be, and they said that she's going to be testifying all the way through Friday. They feel like her testimony is not as long as Cassie, but in that neighborhood. So it seemed like Mia has a lot to say. I couldn't really get a good bead on the jury. Patricia asked me how I think the jury doing. I ain't really get a good bead on the jury. I'll try tomorrow. Try to look them in their eyes a little bit, and maybe I'll have something to say on tomorrow's episode. It's just been crazy, but like I said, y'all, I got here at 7:30 a.m. Had to get up at 4 a.m. to get ready for the flight. Got here at 7:30 a.m. We landed, went to the hotel, then went straight up to the courthouse. I saw it was only one person with a free puff shirt on. One person. I got footage of that one person. My VIP subscribers, they saw the footage. But one person with a free puff shirt, a lot of media out there, a lot of chaos. Saw Combs' family come in and out of the courthouse a couple times. Quincy, Justin, Christian. Oh shoot! Let me plug my computer up, y'all. All right, I had to plug the computer up, y'all. It was getting low. We back though. Yeah. So definitely will continue. I'm gonna continue to give y'all A1 coverage. Yeah, $20 an hour to wear a free puff shirt. Somebody said, can they make J-Lo testify? I don't know. I haven't heard J-Lo's name, so she may be able to, she might be out of the wood. All of a sudden they understand RICO. Yeah, it's crazy. Diddy look like he never listened to his mammy as a child. He was a show off. Look what he goes around, comes around. So true. This getting worse. And I told y'all, the prosecution is putting on more and more of their biggest and impactful witnesses. We ain't got to D-Rock in them yet. You know D-Rock gonna have to get on that stand. The security Reuben guy gonna have to get on that stand. As you see, they're building up to the people who are closer and closer to Diddy's shady circle. Not all these victims. They saving all the shady individuals for the end. The D-Rocks, the Reuben, probably Harv Pierre. Because all these people looking at time if they don't get up there and testify. And ain't nobody about to do time for no Mr. Mohawk Diddy. He had one Mohawk too many. That last time he got a Mohawk, he should have said, "No, don't give me no Mohawk. I ain't ready for no Mohawk." There you go. I like Africa. Conspiracy under RICO is when two or more people agree to participate in a criminal enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. If that's not what Diddy doing, then they might as well they got to throw the law out. They got to get rid of that law. If this ain't RICO, see, another thing people don't realize, laws set precedent. If this ain't RICO, then you can just use your power and money and just start whooping everybody's ass and having your employees do God knows what to God knows who. If this ain't RICO. If this ain't RICO, then what does that say about the accountability of businesses and organizations in our country? If you can get away with all of this, then there ain't no point in having a law. That's my thoughts on the whole thing. Yeah, the float, because she said, why the news watering down? Because we are in a battle of elites and people who could be implicated in this shit versus the common everyday people that ain't got nothing to do with this, who we ain't doing none of this freaky mess. We just want to see justice. We are in a battle right now. So when you see certain medias and this and that trying to downplay it, everybody has skin in the game. But the people like me and you are just regular folks handling our business and working. We don't have no reason to water it down. We're gonna call it exactly for what it is. Bullshit. And lucky for us, the jury is more like us than CNN and TMZ. Regular folk who look at this and be like, this is what goes on in the celebrity world. This is what goes on. You get power and money, and next thing you know, you destroying motherfuckers. Unbelievable. See if I see any more questions. Exactly. Somebody said, Yanni said, in my opinion, the fact that none of Diddy's employees cooperated with investigators after the car fire shows conspiracy. Indeed. Somebody said you got to do your research. You sure do. Bots are everywhere. Oh, yeah, I set them straight every time. These bots, I go 1v100 on these bots. Me versus 100 bots, I'm winning every time. Oh, I'll be at the court at 6 a.m. Oh, no, I ain't. Hey, look, let me tell you something. I ain't stressing myself. I use it as a time to educate. That's my excuse to educate people on what's going on. I ain't stressing them out. I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly what RICO is, and I have a large platform to get my word out. I ain't never stressing. I put my work in, so whatever I feel like I want to say, I get to say it to millions of people every day. I ain't gonna never stress. But what I do is use these fools as a time to educate. Give me an excuse to educate everybody in the world on what the hell RICO is. I love an excuse. But damn sure, one thing I know about it, anybody trolling or anybody saying whatever, they can't get their word out like I can get my word out. So I would never be stressed about it. I put my work in already. So I don't have to stress. Because tomorrow when I post, it's going out to millions of people, like everything else I post. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it all. She says Diddy is cooked. Oh, yeah, that's why they're saving the security for last. Somebody said, doesn't it anyone feel like these security peeps are one of the biggest reasons that this monster was allowed to get away with so much? Yep, and that's why the security people haven't been set on stand yet. I believe the security people are going to be in the last half. And let y'all know, too, let me make this announcement. I will be not only this time, but I'm coming back in the middle of June, which will be around the time when the prosecution rests its case. I'll be coming back to New York. I'll be here all this week, but then I'll be coming back to New York like around middle of June. And then I'll be coming back for a third and final time for the verdict. And if they're on the pace that they're on right now, the verdict should come like first week of June. I don't know, because of the 4th. So let's just say early June. If they really move fast, it could be late June. But at any rate, I'll stay the rest of this week in New York, going to the courtroom tomorrow and Friday. And then I'll be back in the middle of June, like 15th, 16th, 18th of June, somewhere in there. And then I'll come back for the verdict. So just up for all my VIP Diddy customers, I will be here 3 times for this trial, three different weeks. So this is week 1. I'll come back, and then I'll be back for in the middle of the month, June, and then I'll be back for the actual verdict when they read the verdict. So just wanted to let y'all know that. C Tuck in the building. What's up, C Tuck? Flame Broil. Yes, ma'am. But thanks to everybody that y'all have pushed me to a level I never saw coming. And I'm excited to be here in this historic event. This is an historic trial. And for me to be a part of it, and actually a major part of it, it's just a blessing. And I got to thank y'all for that. So although it was hectic, y'all know I always get on here and got to meet with my community. No matter how many hula hoops and flips I got to jump through, I don't even have all my equipment but you know I don't make no excuses. I'm gonna get on here and talk my shit and shoot the shit with everybody and make sure everybody know what's going on. So that'll be all for today. Look out for me tomorrow. Thanks to everybody subscribing. I'm gonna get me a little fresh air tonight. I've been running and running and working my ass off. So I'm about to probably go to like a little hookah lounge down the street. I'm in Times Square, y'all, just so y'all know. I'm in Times Square. I might even go live later from the hookah lounge if they're not playing music. So thanks to everybody. Appreciate it. Everybody, let's get the outs in the comments. Much love to everybody who's supporting the movement. Shout out to the VIP Diddy people. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody. Whether you could subscribe or can't subscribe, you are a part of the movement. And you know what I'm saying? We never leave anybody behind. So I will always make sure I squeeze in some time for the free show, the Flow Show, No Filter, every Monday through Friday. But this week, it will be in the evenings around 4 or 5 o'clock or something like that. I can't say an exact time. Much love to everybody. I'm out. Love y'all. Check out my new update. I'm out.